Hello and thank you for watching. I'm your host Johnny Freeborn and we're ready to talk business. This is Central Valley Talk, the business segment, and my first guest is Paula, and it's Paula Massey.
Yes.
With Women with Visions Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tell me in a nutshell what it is you guys do over there.
Well, what we're doing right now, in the past few years, we've been really dedicating our services to working with our youth in the community with their education. We do a literacy program. We go to low-income housing projects, and we work with the students there with their reading. That's all we do, is getting them up in their reading. And then we do a summer school program where we focus on reading and math for 1st through 6th graders. And then we do, like I said, we're doing a lot. And over this next few weeks, we're going to be doing diagnostic testing with reading and math. And we find that very helpful with the parents, so they can know exactly what reading level and what math level their children are on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is for what grades now?
We do from with the diagnostic testing, we do it from 2nd grade to 6th grade. We do have some students parents that call in and ask us to diagnose their child who's in 8th grade, 9th graders.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll do it for everybody, but our program for the next 2 weeks are going to be for 2nd grade through 6th graders. Yeah.
Sounds like your heart is really to just fill the gap. Whatever the need is, you guys just want to kind of help out.
It is to fill the gap. And because our children have gaps in their education, and we found out that even though they may be in the 6th grade, they may be in a 3rd grade reading level, and we found that to be true, that a lot of them are in those lower levels, even in their math. They may be going on in their 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, but somewhere along the line, they've missed something. I homeschooled my children from the 4th grade. My oldest one never went to high school. I homeschooled him in high school. Then I opened up a private school at a local church I was going to. And I found out that students had gaps.
Yeah.
Even though they were in 5th grade, somewhere along the line, they didn't have what they needed for their language arts. They didn't know what an adjective was, or noun, or pronoun. But once you taught them that and you worked with them one-on-one, they were able to grasp it and move on.
Yeah.
So you got to find those gaps, and that's what our diagnostic testing does. Find those gaps, let the parents know exactly what the child needs and what we recommend, and move on from there.
Well, I'm one of those byproducts of the students who has gaps in their education, and it's difficult to now try and play catch up in my adult years on things that were fundamental I should have learned back then, but just wasn't paying attention, or one thing or another. There's so many distractions as a kid,
Exactly.
Everything's colorful and lively and moving, and then you sit them in a 2-dimensional classroom that's kind of monotone, right?
Exactly.
So,
and you know what, the whole thing about it is that when a child is in a classroom, and I've been in classrooms, and a lot of our students are being diagnosed with ADHD, but you walk into the classroom and you see wall-to-wall color, from ceiling to floor, books, this color, and it's distracting.
So there must be some advances then, since I was back in school.
Oh man, it's like the classrooms are just full of stuff, and I'm like,
that's good.
When I walk into the classroom, I'm looking around like, I'm not focusing.
Oh, okay. It's a distraction, is what you're saying. I see.
There are distractions and stuff for the students and stuff, and so if you just, sometimes if the teacher just tone it down, some, so those students could basically focus. And some of our students are not able to focus, and I found out that when we're working with students, every child learns differently. So you put them in a classroom with all 4th graders, okay? And maybe Johnny is interested in baseball, so he's not interested in what you're teaching over here. But I found out in teaching at a private school, I was able to tailor their education around what they desired.
Okay.
There was a young man who would not do a book report for nothing. So what I did, and I knew he was into baseball, so what I did was got some books and put it in our library that's dealing with baseball stories, and he got those books, and he did his book reports because it was something that he was interested in. Yeah,
you tapped his passion. You found out what it is that drives him. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I think that needs to happen more and more in schools, and until we see that there's definitely going to be gaps for you guys to fill, and thank you for doing what you guys are doing over there.
Yeah.
You have some events coming up, correct?
Yes, we do. We have like I said, our reading and math diagnostic testing. It is a free testing, and on the 13th of this month, which is this Saturday coming up, we're going to be testing our second, third, and fourth graders, and we're testing in math and reading. We're going to be using our laptops.
Okay.
Our laptops will be used for our math, but for the reading portion, they're actually going to be doing paper. So they're going to have to read, comprehend what they read. I want to look at their handwriting, how they're forming their letters. All of that, I think, is important, so the parents can have a full picture of what their child is doing, not so much as your child is performing 60% in the 90% tile. I mean, parents don't understand that. And what is a level for the 90% percentile? I mean, sixth grade, 90%. Are the 90% at the third grade level, and your child is performing at 60% of that? So we have to look at all of that, because they don't really tell you that in those tests. But this testing that I do really tells them that. And then on the 20th of May, which is a Saturday, once again, we'll be working with the 5th and 6th graders and that diagnostic testing. We're going to be holding it, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders. We're going to be working with them over at the First Christian Church, and that's on Malone in Hanford. And then we go to First Christian Church, What we're going to be working with the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders is at the Irwin Street Inn in Hanford. It is a restaurant. It is a nice facility, but they have rooms that they set aside for us that we can use. And they're allowing us to come in and do the diagnostic testing. And it's free. Like I said, it's free. And then on the 20th, the kids of the 5th and 6th graders will be coming in at First Christian Church, and that's on Cameron. That's on Cameron. Our doors open at 8 o'clock, doors shut at 8:15.
Okay.
So we can start the testing. And it's going to be wonderful. We make the kids feel very comfortable. There's no stress involved. Just do what you can do. If you don't know the work, move on to the next question until you're not able to do anymore. And at that point, that's when we'll test. We've done testing like this in October. I think we did some testing in October, second and third graders. And we found, no, it was third and fourth graders, third and fourth graders. And we found that a lot of our young boys who were testing, they were in fourth grade, and they were testing at the first grade level.
Okay.
And we had some that was not even on the level.
Yeah.
They didn't know anything. We did have one young lady, but she was from another country, and I guess her parents really pushed her. She was reading she was third grade. She was reading at a sixth grade level, and she was right at the level that she needed to be at for her math.
Okay.
So her parents just had her there just to find out, where's my child? And she was on point. But a lot of I find that a lot of our young boys, our black and our brown boys, are really not making a grade. And if they don't make the grade here, they're going to keep being passed on. And right now I'm working with a high school student that is probably at the third grade level reading. Yeah, it's not good.
How long have you been doing this?
Oh man, I've been working with education. Oh wow. Ooh, my goodness.
A while.
A while. Not so much as I did this when I did the Christian school, the private school we had, and that was in 1994 when I really got involved. Prior to that, I homeschooled my children. But I've always been interested in education, making sure my children had what they needed. At the school, looking at the report cards, looking at the homework, being involved in what they were doing. So I would say that. It's been a while. And
you are the founder of Women with Visions Unlimited.
Yes, I am the founder. And
what caused you to birth that?
Well, what it started was my co-founder, we were on our way from LA back in 2001 on the train, and I was trying to start a tutoring business. But I needed a mentor, and I said, you know what? We need women to teach us how to start businesses, business women. And I heard the voice said, well, why don't you do it? I'm like, I need help. What are you talking about? Who is this talking to me? And so we talked about it and we planned it. Things didn't go off, but in 2007, after I was laid off of my job, I went to Hanford. I was living in Fresno. I went to Hanford to visit a friend, her on January 1st, and we said, let's do an entrepreneurial resource conference, an African American Women's Resource Conference. That was in 2007, and that was January. June, we had the conference. We had about 20 vendors, women vendors who had their own business. And we had about 70-something people all together. It was at the Irwin Street Inn. Lunch, we had speakers from LA, from Fresno.
That's
Small Business Administration.
Big turnout, huh?
It was a big turnout.
That's great.
And the following year, we said, well, let's continue with this. And then we said we need to do something for our youth. So we started a real life youth conference. And we've done that since 2008. Last year, we did a little something different. This year, we're not doing the conference. We're trying to give it a break. But we're really working hard, working with our students with their reading and math. The high school our local high school does a youth conference in October. So, but we're trying to do that, fill that gap.
I see.
Fill that gap, yeah.
I see. What do you think is the biggest detractor from kids in their education? What's causing the gaps? I mean, is it a lack in the education system? Is it a combination of things?
I think it's
what would fix it, in other words?
Well,
if you
going back to the basics. Going back to the basics. Since I've been working with this, I've counted how many changes or how many standards have come along. There's been Goals 2000 that Clinton brought in, and then we had No Child Left Behind, and now we have Common Core. So within that time, you had students that were in, just take for instance, you had a child that's in 4th grade, okay, and they're moving right along, and then here's another standard that comes in. Now we have Goals 2000, but they're moving along, but somewhere along they still have little gaps. So now you change the standard, and then another 4 or 5 years down the road, you change the standard again. You see what's happening?
Yeah, it keeps shifting.
It keeps shifting for that student, and they never.
Politics keep messing up our education. In other words.
So what's wrong with just 1 + 1 is 2? What's wrong with see Sally run, see Spot chase Sally, that's just me. But what's wrong with the basics? What's wrong with the basics that our children need? I've worked with in tutoring. I was a tutor. I had children that were in the 3rd grade, and when I test them on their math, there was this young girl. She was just crying. She was at my dining room table because they came to test, and I'm like, honey, what's wrong? She says, I can't do it. And it was just adding single-digit numbers. She was in 3rd grade.
Oh, wow.
And she couldn't do it.
That's too bad.
My son, my youngest one, who I started in 4th grade, I was giving him work to do. You know how they give you those 100 problems on a sheet of paper that the teacher said, you got 5 minutes to do this? Well, my son was sitting there, and he was distressing, like he couldn't do the work. And I said, you have to do this. He got every question wrong, every problem wrong. So I said, I know he knows this work. So what I did was I took each problem, put it on an index card, 100 index cards. I said, do them. Got every last one right because it was too overwhelming. We overwhelm our students. We overwhelm them with paper, with a whole lot of different things on the paper, and some students need just to focus on one thing. But I think it's up to that teacher, and we have really good teachers that want to focus on what that child needs. But in the school system, they have to start here in August, and they have to end up here at the end of May. Well, Johnny's stuck back here in November. But the class is going. He's stuck here, but he has to keep up with the class, but he never gets this concept that they're learning in November. So he's moving on. That's the problem.
Interesting. I wonder if individualized learning, like the headsets, the virtual reality, is going to really step it up a notch for our
I've
education.
used that.
I hope so.
I've used that before, and there is a curriculum that I use when I did homeschool my children, and at the private school, it's called Accelerated Christian Education, and there's another one that you use. It's Christian based, but the concept is once you do a diagnostic testing, you find out what levels, and you order the books. And what they take is they take a math book. You might get a math book that's this thick. Mm-hmm. That's overwhelming. So what they do is they take each section and they break it off in a booklet, and the booklet may be maybe 20, 25 pages big, because that's the concept. So when your child finishes that book and masters that test, they go on to another booklet. Mm-hmm. And what they do at the beginning of the booklet, they review what they just did, learn a new concept, test in the middle of each concept, and then they take a test to make sure they master that whole book. So you're getting that book, mm-hmm. but the child is able to learn at their own pace.
Okay.
So what they do is they take this book and they say, okay, you have 20-some pages here. How long is it going to take you to finish this booklet? And if that child says, oh, I could finish it in 10 days. Well, how many pages do you need to complete to finish this book in 10 days? Because now they have a whole stack of, they have the science, social studies, and they have to realistically figure out how they're going to finish this book. So at that point, students are able to progress, move on. Mm-hmm. Some students are bored. My oldest one was bored. He was bored because once he learned this concept, he's ready to move on. He's not willing to sit there in the class and like, do we have to still do this over again? Yeah. I already know that. I don't care about those students. I know this. I want to move on. Right. So this curriculum that I work with, the testing and the curriculum that I really recommend to parents, is a good curriculum so they can move on. It's individualized.
Okay.
When I ran the private school, I had 40-something students, and just about every student was on a different level.
Oh, wow.
So nobody laughed at each other. I had high school students that did not know how to read a ruler. Mm-hmm. So I was able to create a big ruler to put on their desk and teach them individually, work with them. This is a 1/2 inch, this is a 1/4 inch, this is an 1/8 inch. And
that's huge, that they're not laughing at each other. It's a safe environment.
Very safe.
They feel like there's no dumb question, as they call it.
And plus what we did was we provided other activities for them.
Yeah.
We did cooking classes, we did interior decorating classes, we did sewing classes, we did woodworking classes.
Oh, wow.
We had a track team, we did drum corps. So
it sounds like
we did a good. So it was a lot to have kids to interact with, instead of just, we come into school, we're just going to learn these books. Mm-hmm. We got PE because you have to do PE. But we did the whole thing. We did the book reports. I had high school students doing book reports with the diorama. Mm-hmm. And some of you guys might remember when we were in school, we took the shoebox, and we took, we did the shoebox, and we did the book report, mm-hmm. and we took a scene out of the book, and they decorated the inside of the box.
Right.
Well, I had students that coming in with big boxes, if they wanted to decorate that. That's how I did book reports. It wasn't always just, okay, tell me what the book report about, who, what, when, where, and why. Mm-hmm. No, take a scene out of that book and demonstrate that. Or take a scene out of the book and let's do a poster book report. Mm-hmm. So I did it different ways, and it became very interesting to the students.
Very, very good. All right. Well, Paula, how do people get in touch with you? If you do you have needs as far as volunteers and donations?
Oh, donations is what we need. We operate on a very, very limited budget, and I try my best to make it stretch. We used to have a building in Hanford on 8th Street, and I found, after looking at it, I said, we was putting too much money into the building. I need to put the money into the programs, into a brick and mortar. We're not having that many people come in to the building. So I use the money very wisely. So basically what we do is we look for donations. Some of our community members will donate, and they will sponsor. The one other thing that we're doing, I want to mention, is our summer school program. I didn't mention that. Okay. We do have our summer school program, and it starts on June 12th. We don't wait. As soon as school is out, that Monday they start summer school. So it goes from June 12th to June 23rd, and it's a 2-week session. All we work on is math and reading. That's it, math and reading. And it starts at 9 o'clock and we end at 11 a.m. This is 2 hours. We don't want to bore the kids. This is their summer, but we want to make sure that they're getting, and what we do is we review what they learn and we carry them on into their next grade that they're going to be going into. Now, this is $60 per student, but what we do have is we have scholarships for students, families who have 3 or more kids that are enrolling. And what we're looking for from the community or anybody who wants to donate, we want scholarships. We want people to be able to donate funding so some of these students could go at a lesser price or free. Right. And the reason why we charge is because we have credentialed teachers that come in and use and teach. So we have credentialed teachers that are spending their first part of their summer, those 2 weeks, to come in and work with these students. We have teachers who are coming in for their first year students, and they teachers, and they love to be a part of this. So we want to be able to give them a little stipend, and we want to have a little activity after the program for the students. So this is not a money maker for us. It's just a way to get the qualified teachers to come in to work with these students and get them where they need to be. So anybody wants to donate, they can. Once again, my name is Paula Massey, Massey. My number is 559-761-4690. And you can also reach us at our email, which is WomenWithVisionsUnlimited at yahoo.com. It's on the screen. Thank you. We would love to send me an email, give me a call. If I need to come and pick up a check from you, I will do it. I have no problem with that. And we are a nonprofit organization. We are a 501c3, so it is tax deductible to you.
Oh, good. I was going to ask.
Yeah, we are a 501c3.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Paula.
Thank you very much.
And I hope you keep us posted on things that are happening.
Oh, definitely. I'm glad I was able to come and share with what we're doing in the city of Hanford, and we would love to spread this out to other cities also.
Very good, very good.
Well,
thanks again for coming on, and we will be right back.
Okay, thank you.